Curry with the fake on Jaylen Brown, drills it. Curry with a little something to say.
The gentleman just told me the players are insured. If something happens, no problem.
What is Mourinho talking about? All right, come on in, amigos. It's Daily on a Thursday filled with comebacks and upsets. You have Lez Ann and Mark for company.
Good evening, everyone. And I've got to say, Lez Ann, did you watch a match between Barca and PSG? Oh my, oh my.
Well, Mark, talk about the greatest comeback ever. What a thrashing by Barca.
I had to sleep early, but I really wish I didn't because that match was crazy. What a comeback. Absolutely unbelievable.
Yes, there's always highlights on Daily, Mark. But did you know it was actually Barca's first comeback since the round of 16 in the 2012-13 season of this competition? Back then, Barca had to overturn a 2-0 deficit from the first leg against AC Milan. They went on to win the second leg 4-0. The match against PSG, however, takes the cake when it comes to drama. Luis Suarez kind of knew early on that luck will be on his side. His namesake Luis Enrique thinks he's pulling his leg. So Suarez decided to show him. 3 minutes in and Barca found themselves in front. Unai Emery cannot believe it. Nothing Thomas Müller could have done about it. Barca took their time to get their second. The brilliance of their captain Andres Iniesta showcased here. Unfortunately, the goal was credited to Levin Kurzawa, who touched the ball last. Emery, a worried man. Iniesta played a part in Barca's third of the night too. Him and the end of the MSN trifecta earning a spot kick. Up stepped the M of that trio to make it 3-4 on aggregate, bringing an anxious Emery out of his dugout. The Barca squad getting off their bench for different reasons. Ex-Barca man and current PSG director of football Patrick Kluivert predicting a Parisian fight back there.
Real threat, Cavani! That's the goal that PSG were so desperately hoping for. And suddenly, they're feeling a whole lot better about themselves.
Even with the aggregate at 5-3, Barca refused to give up. Neymar again, cutting that gap with 2 minutes of regulation time left on the clock, sending Emery's heart racing for all the wrong reasons. Boop, 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 boop. Then, in added time, Barca earned another spot kick. The Brazilian decided to shoulder the responsibilities this time, making Emery a very anxious man by the touchline. Then this happened.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch, and it's in! And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes at the Nou Camp. Sergio Roberto, the substitute, is the hero of the hour, and it is the greatest Champions League knockout comeback of all time.
We'll give you a minute to catch your breath and remind you of the other comebacks in the Champions League knockout stage. Barca have been in this situation 3 times previously, and yes, they are one of 2 clubs with multiple comebacks in this list. The other one being Mark's team, Chelsea. We'll have more on this a little later in the show. For now, here's what Emery had to say about the loss.
J'ai vu bon moment à le football, j'ai vu mauvais moment à le football, et c'est une expérience négative, mais c'est une expérience pour moi, pour nous. Et après, seulement de les expériences négatives, j'apprends pour le futur. Mais aujourd'hui, c'est clair que nous avons perdu tous une bonne opportunité.
Mais comme capitaine, je suis très fier de mon joueur. Malheureusement qu'aujourd'hui, rien n'a marché. C'est ça la vérité. On a essayé de jouer aujourd'hui comme d'habitude, mais nous ne sommes pas réussi à faire tout ce qu'on a parlé, tout ce qu'on a travaillé. Et le Barça, pour le contraire, ils ont fait tout ce qu'il fallait faire. Ils ont concrétisé beaucoup d'occasions devant.
Pues sí, es una noche difícilmente explicable con palabras, porque ha sido el guión de una película de terror, no diría suspense, de terror, con un inicio espectacular, con un Camp Nou como muy pocas veces he podido ver. Yo solo recuerdo un partido en el que la tensión era superior a la de hoy, no voy a decir la fecha, pero era jugador. Y hoy he visto una actitud de los jugadores siempre la tienen espectacular, pero hoy ha sido aceptar los riesgos. Hemos corrido infinidad de riesgos, no se pueden correr más riesgos, ya sería defender en inferioridad. Y hemos, sobre todo, creo que es una victoria de la fe.
As expected, social media was buzzing after the match. Barca's official Insta posted it out with 3 words that said it all.
As did Barca's captain, as you can see here. I think that looks like One Direction from afar, Lez Ann.
Potential quarterfinal opponents Bayern's Frank Ribery was paying attention too.
And it wasn't just him, of course. Juve's Claudio Marchisio. Mamma mia, check out that tweet.
Even ex-players had their say. Our friend Luis Garcia reminded us he was once part of Barca with that photo.
And Didi Hamar never actually played for Barca, but of course he knows a thing or two about these European nights, calling this one the best game he has ever seen.
And 5-time European Cup winner Paolo Maldini posted this up, reiterating his love of the game.
But it was not just footballers sending their praise. San Antonio's Pau Gasol actually said this, Barca!
And this was what 3-time MotoGP champion Jorge Lorenzo posted on his account.
You'd think PK's wife Shakira has a lot of money, so you'd think she'd have a better phone than this, right? But
yes.
Still pretty crazy scenes there.
And the best of the lot, Rio Ferdinand, Steven Gerrard and Michael Owen's reaction at the winning goal. Priceless.
Wow.
And some match stats for you, in case you like numbers. Barca attempted 235 passes in the opposite half, 184 more than PSG. Suarez has now scored 65 goals in 64 appearances overall at the Camp Nou, which includes 4 goals against PSG in the Champions League, more than against any other opponent. Here's 2 men who like to analyze numbers for us from a match, telling it as it is about this one.
That wasn't a convincing Barcelona performance, yet they scored 6.
You'd have wanted to play PSG in the quarter-finals. Everyone would have been putting a hand up. We'll take PSG.
Yeah.
And they were awful. They were awful. They will sit down. It'll take them a long, long time to get over that result as footballers, as professional footballers, to be beaten 6-1 away from home after winning the first game 4-0.
Yeah. It happens in Europe. You can just switch off whatever teams you play against. There's always that little bit of quality in there that can win a game. That's the reason why they're in European competitions.
14 months since the Warriors lost a home game. Curry, fake it, take it, make it! Draymond from the top, triple top. Thomas has it, goes to the basket and scores.
Way behind the line, it rims out, and it's over. The Boston Celtics snap the longest home court winning streak in NBA history.
That was a throwback Thursday to last April when Boston ended Golden State's 54 home winning run. Now we're going to fast forward 11 months. The Warriors face the Celtics again, protecting a slightly shorter run of 10 straight. But of course, going through a rather rough patch without their star forward Kevin Durant, who sprained his left knee last week against Washington. The 4-time NBA scoring champ addressed the media for the first time since that injury and expects to be back fit and ready for the Warriors before the end of the regular season. KD also revealed he's been really busy playing video games. And in his absence, the Splash Brothers have been malfunctioning. But the signs early on were quite positive here. Klay Thompson, very cheeky. And this right here, the high point of the night for the Warriors, Steph Curry beating the clock to end the third Q. Thompson and Curry combining for 47 points through the first 3 quarters alone. And the 2-time MVP having a go here at rookie Jaylen Brown for apparently talking too much. And it all went downhill from there. Andre Iguodala careless and leaving Avery Bradley all so lonely up there. And later on, Steph getting caught in traffic. If you like traffic so much, maybe you should come down to Malaysia. Not very good there from Curry. And then once again, Iguodala once more. The Warriors committing 8 turnovers alone in the quarter. Steve Kerr there, obviously not too pleased about that stat. And then the nail on the coffin. Isaiah Thomas, no mercy, 25 points on the night. And how about that? Warriors lose their 3rd game in 5, and their 10-game home winning run is over. The 86 points scored by the league's best team was their lowest output this season. I'm not pointing any fingers, but the Splash Brothers combined for only 1 point in the 4th quarter of that game. Their 2nd worst offensive performance this season was just a few days ago against Chicago. Yep, both games without KD in the lineup. The Warriors obviously not enjoying his absence.
We didn't want to turn the ball over. We know if they got in transition and got open threes, they'll get going. In this crowd, we get going. We wanted to defend them in the half half court. We believe in guys like Avery Bradley, Marcus Smart, Jay Crowder, and Al Horford, who should be first or second team all defense. We believe in them in the half court, and they did the job.
Tonight, you didn't have to do all the damage in the fourth quarter, only 7 points for you in the fourth quarter. How are your teammates able to make up that difference?
We're fighters. We compete. Guys competed. Kelly Olynyk had a huge game. Al had an all-around game. Avery played well. We're just a bunch of competitors that love to compete, and we want to win. We was on a 2-game losing streak.
So much more to come on Daily. After the break, we're back in the NBA, where another team's struggles from downtown cost them the W. The deets coming up.
Daily's back with Gordon Hayward and his fourth place Utah looking to close the gap on Harden and co sitting in third. And Hayward was quickly off the mark in this one. Quick thinking from him here helped lose Harden for that dunk. He actually had 23 points on the night. The Rockets were trailing by double digits for most of the game, and Harden was doing his best to reduce it. This jumper right here did the trick. Get down to just 4. And even here when Harden lost the ball, his teammate Cabela had his back. Hayward was not going to let Harden get this one in, swatting him right here, probably learning a thing or two from Kawhi Leonard probably. And Harden, though, was not to be denied second time round with this. He finished with a game-high 35 points. But for all his determination, it just was not enough to prevent Utah from winning this one by 7. The Jazz are now just 3 games behind Houston in the Western Conference. 10 versus 12 in the East, where Milwaukee hosted New York, with that man becoming the game changer. You'll see why. Starting the first Q with daylight robbery over KP, setting up Tony Snell for that. Giannis then decided to get one for himself, driving in the paint for that slam with such elegance. So the Knicks had to step up their game, and they did. First, Derrick Rose with the J. Knicks lead by 6. And then a solo effort by D Rose running around the Bucks. 10-point game to the team from the Big Apple. Time for Milwaukee to step up instead, displaying their team passing skills beautifully here. Chris Middleton finishing that one off from downtown. And to finish things off, Giannis raising the roof with that 32 points, 13 boards for the Greek Freak. Bucks win their 4th straight. It does not make life any easier for New York. Up next, they've got Detroit, a side they've never beaten since a double overtime victory in 2015. And then it's a lot more easier facing the eliminated Brooklyn Nets twice. But from then on, I've got to say, best of luck, Knicks. You're going to need it.
All right, Indiana versus Detroit, 6 versus 7 in the East, and Paul George kept it PG-13 in front of a full house, taking that one to a potential 3-point play. However, one Piston decided to break that rule. Tobias Harris with a hard slam over Miles Turner. Detroit's gap down to 10 here. But PG says, we don't tolerate violence here in Indiana, and then went on a spree in the 3rd quarter, knocking down back-to-back threes. Bam. Welcome to the Pacers Downtown Club. 10-point game to Indiana now. PG, hey, was not done yet. One more fadeaway, Jay. Just because he feels like it. Indiana paced this one out by 17. That win further secured Indiana's playoff spot in 6. More challenges await them in the form of Milwaukee Bucks and Miami Heat, who are also vying for a spot in the top 8. Having been victims themselves 2 seasons ago, they'll be hoping there's no repeat of that disappointment. And now back to football, guys. Pep Guardiola and co. distracted by Barca's comeback in the Champions League, we think, because they missed out on cutting the gap on leaders Chelsea. And it wasn't just Pep who was distracted. The City defense almost allowed Stoke to get the lead. Mark Hughes in disbelief. The citizens got their hits back in the game after the break. Kevin De Bruyne finds Leroy Sané, who sends it over the top. Next, David Silva came close after exchanging passes with Fernandinho, only to send it wide. In added time, KDB laid it on a plate for Kelechi Iheanacho, but the striker misses from 2 yards. Maybe third time's a charm, Kev. This time finding Sané. You're supposed to put the ball into the net, Sané. A share of the spoils for both teams then. Could this be the day the title is conceded to Chelsea? And so the Blues are at the top with 10 points. City are tied for second spot with Tottenham on 46 points, while Arsenal and Manchester United have a game in hand and could overtake Liverpool in fourth. Pep, though, had something to say about City's inconsistencies at home.
Yeah, well, good evening. Our results away are much better than at home. Maybe next season will be the opposite, so you never can control that. So we drop points, but we have to analyze the way, except I remember Southampton here. The other ones, we were much better, like today. So, of course, the first half we had problems to create our game because they had defend aggressive, deep, a lot of people. Our strikers stay there, don't move, and always it's complicated to find the players between the lines. The second half was much better, and we create enough chances to score goals, of course.
The red half of Manchester will be in action tomorrow in the Europa League. Jose Mourinho's men kick off their first leg of the last 16 in Russia against Rostov. And Mourinho is not very happy about the condition of the pitch his men will be competing on. Jose complained about something? Surely not.
I just had a quick contact with one gentleman from UEFA when I was looking at the pitch, and when I told him about my concerns, that gentleman just told me the players are insured. If something happens, no problem.
Oh, someone's going to get into a lot of trouble. Rostov take on United at 2 a.m. live on Supersport 3. And after that, stay tuned for a German showdown at 4 a.m. between Schalke and Gladbach. If you tune into Supersport 2, you'll see Lyon taking on Roma from 4 a.m. But if you need your beauty sleep like my awesome co-host Lez Ann does, just tune in to the highlights at 7 p.m. live on Daily with Swarna and Michelle. Still coming up on Daily, we've got proof for you why Barcelona are the greatest comeback kings in Europe. Stick around because you'll want to see this.
And again, it's the miraculous Ronaldo.
Welcome back to Daily, amigos. To all Liverpool fans, it's time to get excited. Just 10 more days till you get to see Jordan Riza at Berjaya Times Square. Don't worry, we have not forgotten all your Monaco, Roma, Fulham, Apolla, Norway fans, yeah? Everyone is welcome and bring whatever you need signed. We'll try to accommodate every single one of you out there. Be early, wear something comfortable, practice your Norwegian if you have to, in case you feel like impressing Riza. Oh, and just look out for Reem, because she's going to be there too. Now, over to Dortmund, who had their own revival against Benfica. Dortmund looked to overcome a 1-0 deficit against the Portuguese from the first leg. Aubameyang was hoping to fulfill that task, drawing first blood as early as the 4th minute. His 5th goal of the UCL drew Dortmund level on aggregate. Knowing an away goal could change the tide, the Eagles did not back down. Franco Cervi coming close to equalizing. Even Luizão tried his luck with this header, but it was to no avail. Dortmund's defense continued to hold firm, with Cervi having another golden opportunity. Berkey clearly not happy with the amount of work he has to do. Just before the hour mark, Dortmund made the Eagles pay for not taking their chances. Christian Pulisic scoring his first goal of the competition. And now, 2 minutes later, Aubameyang all but secured victory for Tuchel's side. That's the second of the night. To put the icing on Dortmund's cake, the Gabon international got his hat-trick 5 minutes from time, pushing Dortmund through to the quarters for the first time since 2014.
Well, it's a double whammy, this. If Benfica get the away goal, it just takes the air out the balloon for Dortmund. It really does. So it's so important getting that away goal in this competition. Yeah. And then the rest is history. Nobody will be wanting to play Dortmund. Yeah. Nobody. That's a tough tie. Whoever draws Dortmund in the next round will find it difficult, especially when they go there.
So, of course, Dortmund, Bayern, Real and Barca have now put themselves in the pot for the last 8 draw. Who else will make the cut? You're going to find out live next Friday right after Daily. And if you missed out on how Barcelona got themselves there, it was so good. So, of course, we're going to show you again. Recapping our top story, the greatest comeback in the history of the Champions League.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in. And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes at the Nou Camp. Sergio Roberto, the substitute, is the hero of the hour, and it is the greatest Champions League knockout comeback of all time.
What a turnaround, what character, and what for this man here, Unai Emery.
I've already said it twice, but I still just can't get over that. That was unbelievable. And 2017 already has a reputation as the year for comebacks. Do you remember the New England Patriots at Super Bowl 51?
And Roger Federer at this year's Australian Open?
Hey, don't forget about Cameroon at this year's African Cup of Nations.
On the subject of comebacks, see if you can remember any of these from previous Champions League knockout stages.
Undoubtedly be repercussions from failure here to Porto, turning round that damage from the Dragao. Nothing short of demanded.
Chelsea step out at Stamford Bridge, needing to rekindle the spirit of 2 years ago when overcoming a 3-1 away defeat in the knockout stages of the Champions League.
Yes, there's a lot more at stake tonight than simply a place in the Champions League quarter-finals, and it could be a long time before United fans hear this familiar piece of music again. It is Van Persie, and it's in! It's his hat-trick! Manchester United lead on aggregate, back in the driving seat.
Eto'o. And Barca goes in! Denver Bar delivers in the nick of time for Chelsea. 2 substitutes have done it for Jose Mourinho. His magic has worked again.
Cafu, Gattuso can't get in the way, and Gonzalez found the substitute, makes it 4-0. What a turnaround from Deportivo La Coruña.
Lewandowski! Belying the statistics and the history books of what first leg deficits do to you. They are running riot.
And a chance for a third, they've scored! David Villa, who's been so quiet all night, finds the net to give Barcelona an aggregate lead.
Miracle man.
And again, it's the miraculous Ronaldo, a hat-trick, who puts Real Madrid 3-0 up on the night, 3-2 up on aggregate, and the great Cristiano Ronaldo has pulled Real Madrid out of the fire.
Some great comebacks, but I'm sorry, Barcelona's one was still the best for me. You know, there were grown men crying in the stadium. Grown men don't cry, Lez Ann, we don't.
I know. So drama, right? Well, more drama in the Europa League, of course. Tomorrow morning, we have all the highlights tomorrow with Swarna and Michelle.
Yes, I wonder how Mourinho's men will get on in that dodgy pitch in Russia that he was complaining about.
Yeah, and if you're not a footy fan, don't you worry. We have all the action from the All-England Badminton Championship for you to look forward to.
And before we leave, of course, on Daily we got breaking news. Xabi Alonso has just confirmed he plans to retire from football at the end of the season. Quite sad news that, but Lez Ann and Mark wishing you a great evening and we'll see you soon.
For another episode of Daily.